While Europe honors the end of one war, another rages on in the Middle East. With no apparent end in sight, we're just getting word from mediators that there have been no signs of progress right now in ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas. That's coming as the U.S. and 16 other countries call on Hamas to accept that proposal outlined by President Biden. The UN saying dozens more Palestinians are now dead, many more injured after an Israeli strike on a UN-run school in Gaza. The IDF says the bombs that hit that school because Hamas was using it as a compound embedded inside of it. I'm joined now by national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy, also our foreign correspondent Marcus Moore. He's in Tel Aviv. Marcus, what's the latest on the strike on this school? What do we know?
No, Kira, we know the strike happened overnight, and throughout the day there had been urgent search and rescue operations underway in the midst of that rubble to try to find people who may be trapped underneath. We've heard from the officials with the Gaza-run health ministry who right now are saying that as many as 30 people, including children, were killed in this attack, in this strike. The IDF saying that this was a strike carried out by jets and that it was a precise strike on the school that, as you just mentioned, the IDF saying was a place that Hamas was using as a compound, and that they were going after alleged terrorists who were involved in the October 7th attacks, and that is why they struck this particular facility. In the meantime, Kira, UNRWA, who operates this facility or operated the facility, said that they are calling for an investigation into this strike, and that all UN facilities operating in Gaza should be protected at all times.
So, Mick, what do you think this means now for ceasefire talks? Is this deal just getting further and further out of reach?
So, Kira, I think it highlights the need for a ceasefire, of course, but unfortunately it does look like these talks have paused, likely over the idea of having a temporary ceasefire or a permanent one. Israel does not think it has completely depleted and destroyed Hamas, so they don't want to have a permanent one. And of course, Hamas wants to preserve its last remaining few battalions that are in Rafah, so they would like a permanent one. So that is where it is. This attack, of course, highlights the need for it. It's going to be looked at, I think, in detail. There's one story, as Marcus said, coming from the IDF and one coming from UNRWA. But they will be able to see who was injured and who was killed in these attacks. And that's going to show you, was it fighters or was it, in fact, a lot of women and children? And I think that's going to be looked at. It's going to cause more issues for Israel, of course, if it is mostly women and children. And it's going to be something that just adds to this overall problem when it comes to getting a ceasefire.
We'll track it. Mick, Marcus, thank you both.